Yes, I'm live. I want to thank Rain, my co-worker, for getting me this lovely, lovely tripod. Today's February 3rd. 32 years ago today, three men by the name of Hubert Josip Johanna. I want to start off my talk by this. 32 years ago today, 32 men started a movement that till today has grown and made impossible achievements in the eye of the enemies. Hubert, Josip, and Johanna. February 3rd, 1985. These 30 Assyrians were arrested by Saddam's Ba'athi regime, and my uncle, Hurmus Yosef, was one of them. And hearing their stories, how they were in the cells, 3x6 cells, being beaten for 6 months, tortured. And then hearing my uncle tell the story of how he would hear these three men, Hubert, Josip, and Johanna, being tortured and beaten. And the last words before they were hung, each one of them told the other men, my uncles and the other 27 men, do not be afraid, do not let the movement die. They looked in the face of the Saddam's generals and they said, we were born Assyrian, we lived Assyrian, and we will die Assyrian, and there will come a day where we will march on top of your heads. So February 3rd, we want to commemorate Hubert Josip Johanna, one of our strongest, most powerful martyrs that gave their life to this cause. But there's something else I wanted to talk about, and that's Trump. Trump and his anti-media war that has been raging for the last year. You notice how Democrats used to love Trump up until he ran as a Republican, which is mind-boggling, because that's been the tactics for Democrats for the last 20, 30 years. Anybody that's a Republican, they attack as a racist, bigot, fascist, with no evidence at all. Just because we say things that are mean, they call us racist and bigots and so on and so forth. Let me explain something to the liberals that make fun of the alternative news comment that Sean Spicer made. Look, we're all Americans. We need to start listening to each other more instead of yelling. And I'm guilty of this too. I'm a Gemini, so I got double-sided. I have an angry side and a calm and cool side. But what I realized that we need to listen to each other more than screaming. And I think liberals, mostly liberals, the Republicans do this too, conservatives do this too, but mostly on the liberal side, they have a hard time listening to what we're saying. When Spicer and Kellyanne Conway talked about alternative facts, they didn't mean facts that aren't facts or facts that are lies. Because after all, a fact is a fact, you know? But anybody that's taken a philosophy class or logic class knows that two people could look at one fact and come to two different conclusions. For example, I could look at the theory of evolution. Somebody else could look at the fossil record of the theory of evolution, and we both could come to totally different conclusions. I believe in creationism. You believe that this bacteria somehow evolved into fish, and then these fish evolved into monkeys. That's fine. That's your belief. But just because we both look at the same facts doesn't mean that that will lead to the truth. Facts don't always lead to truth. You gotta build your facts on not only evidence and facts, but on logic and reasoning. So when they say alternative facts, they're talking about how the liberal biased media, by the way, all of the media is liberal. The whole media is liberal, and it's funded by George Soros and the socialist Democrats. Fox News is the only one that's fair and balanced. And I'm not just saying that because I'm conservative. when they're saying alternative news or alternative facts, they're not trying to saying facts that aren't true. No, what they're saying is, for example, when they took the two pictures of Obama's inauguration crowd and then they compared that to Trump's crowd. The picture of Trump's crowd was taken around 9 o'clock in the morning. The picture at Obama's crowd was taken at the height of at the rally. So what they do is they try to take that 9 a.m. picture of Trump's rally and they try to show look, not as much people showed up to Trump's rally. See, they have a fact, but they're alternating it to fit their narrative that Trump doesn't have supporters. Or the Martin Luther King bust. The alternative fact of that Trump had the Martin Luther King because they want to make Trump seem like a racist so bad that they said that he had removed the Martin Luther King bust, the statue, out of the White House. The reporter, and then the reporter went back on what he said, and he said, "Oh no, there's a CIA agent or a Secret Service agent standing in the way, so I couldn't see the Martin Luther King bust. I thought they had removed it." That's an alternative fact. It's a fact that he didn't see it there, but he's alternating it to fit a narrative. That's alternative facts. They're alternating a fact to fit their narrative. It's not, they're changing or they don't believe in facts. No. Alternative fact is something that liberals will do all the time. The whole hands up, don't shoot Michael Brown case, where they said CNN reported Michael Brown had his hands up in the air and the cop, for whatever reason, had crowds around him. He pulled out his gun and shot this poor unarmed black man. That's not what happened. Michael Brown started going for the cop's gun, and anybody that has a gun know if somebody trying to go for your gun, you're going to try to kill him before he reaches out for your gun. That's just common sense. For those of you liberals who've probably never been in a fight or an altercation, you don't know that you have to think fast. So Michael Brown didn't have his hands up. No, he was going for the cop's gun, and then that's when the cop shot him. Black eyewitness testimony confirmed that reality. So this is what the liberal media does. They stop. Rob Mady, stop texting me. They start twisting the facts to fit their narrative. Alternative facts. That's what it means. I know it's hard for the liberal to understand. I mean, there's some Democrats out there, some liberals out there, like my cousin Rum Rum. You could sit down and have a logical argument with them. But there's some that they just listen to the media, and whatever the media tells them, like sheep, like robots, zombies. I watch The Walking Dead, and when I see these zombies moving in herds, it reminds me of these liberals that are protesting the refugee ban, protesting the women's rights march. The women's rights march was the most disgusting protest I've ever seen. I'm all for protest. That's a freedom. That's one of the first 10 Bill of Rights: freedom of press and assembly and religion, press. But these women are out there dressed as vaginas, topless, and there's children walking around. What's wrong with you nasty women? Just because no man wants you, you're gonna go around naked? Like, the real feminists are the feminists that are fighting in the Middle East. The Syrian women that are taking up arms to have a right to go to school. What is the biggest women's rights issue in America? The right to kill their own baby in their womb. And they call it pro-choice. No, it's abortion. It's straight up abortion. You're killing your child in the womb. Now that's a touchy subject for women, I understand. And I know you women carry the heaviest burden. But there needs to be a man there to help you with that. I'm sorry, a man has to take half of the burden. But to the women that say, "Oh, it's my choice, it's my body," Well, since you liberals are all about science and facts, from the 4th to the 8th week, that child in the womb has a heartbeat and has brain activity. It's a human being. You are killing another human being. So you have the right to abort the baby, but what about the baby's right to live? Ronald Reagan said it best. He said, "I've noticed that everyone that is pro-choice has already been born." End quote. I don't know. The society has flip-flop roles. Men have become women and women have become men, especially liberal men. And by the way, if a man leaves a girl while she's pregnant, he's most likely a liberal. Not all the time, I'm just saying that as a joke. And to this refugee Muslim ban, first of all, it's not a Muslim ban. There's 7 countries that Obama picked that were under the terrorist watch list because these 7 countries had ISIS infiltrators living in them. ISIS has publicly stated, we are going to use this refugee program to smuggle in our people into the West. As you can see what's happening in France and Belgium and Sweden. Sweden's rape crimes have went up by like 300%. Muslim men are raping Swedish women by the hundreds. And they don't even want to report the ethnicity of the men raping because they don't want to offend Muslimane. They don't want to offend the Muslims. Thank God Western Muslims, my American Muslims, thank God they're westernized. They're not as bad. But if the numbers do increase and more of these Muslim immigrants come, I was in Australia a month ago. I've seen the Muslims in Australia, what kind of mess they have made. And what is it, Rhonda? Brighton? A beautiful town. They've made a mess out of it. Garbage everywhere. They're sitting there like it's Mecca in Saudi Arabia. And then we have these feminists. Wearing burqas, holding signs, women's rights, women for Islam, wearing burqas. Hold those signs in any Middle East. Hold those signs in Saudi Arabia and look what happens to you. Or gays for Gaza. Gays for Islam. Do you know what they do to you in Islamic countries? Do you know what the penalty is if you're gay in Islamic countries? You either get thrown off a roof or beheaded. Those are facts. Those are not me making it up or some conspiracy theory. Look it up. We're living in the Brighton Beach. Yeah. We're living in the age of information. This is not something. Stop watching the media. The media is a joke. Media, CNN, MSNBC, NBC are all jokes. They're all media mind control. They've been controlling you people. All of a sudden we have people boycotting Trump's rioting over Trump's executive order. Obama did the same executive order in 2011 against Iraqis. 2011 for 6 months. Trump is only doing it for 3 months. He's banning people from 7 countries for 3 months. Obama banned Iraqis for 6 months. Not a word from the liberals. Not a word. And then we have Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, that little coward. In 2015, he's sitting there talking about we must have harsh screenings for immigrants coming in. And, you know, this executive order must include harsh screening. And then a couple days ago, he's sitting there in the podium. This was harsh and un-American. First of all, refugees coming into America do not have American rights. The U.S. Constitution does not apply to them. They are not U.S. citizens. Second of all, Chuck Schumer crying, you hypocrite, you're fake. Most of these liberal Democrats are fake. You don't care about refugees. Obama caused 6 million refugees in Syria alone. 6 million refugees Obama caused. Now you guys want to be in an uproar? Now you want to be in an uproar about refugees? 6 times Obama put a ban on Muslims coming in. Not a word from the Democrats. Not a word. We already see Australia, Sweden, Germany having immigrant problems, Islamic immigrant problems. Crimes have gone up in those countries. While we have liberals here, welcome them in. What's the point of you blocking the airports, blocking streets? What are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove by blocking the airport? I just got back from Sydney 2 weeks ago. If I would have seen you people there blocking the airport, I would have went around knocking out every single one of you snowflakes. And us conservatives, when you see, when we see these groups of people, check them. Go up and, I say we start a movement. I say we start a movement. We all wear Make America Great Again and go to the local, most liberal university. Let's see how tough they are then. They're tough when they're in big crowds. But liberals are cowards. They only fight when they're in big crowds, beating up women. They spray painted, beating up a conservative woman who was wearing a Make Trump. Here go your pro-rights, pro-women's rights liberals right there. The biggest hypocrites. And the Women's March, there was a Women's March last week, pro-life Women's March. The media didn't say anything about it. Thousands of women who actually tell women, hey, you're strong enough to have that baby. Not like liberals who tell you, oh no, don't have that baby because you can't take care of it. That baby will be poor. Who's putting value on women now? The liberals or the conservatives? Liberals are telling you to kill your baby because you're weak enough that you can't handle it. And conservative women are telling you, no, keep your baby because you're strong enough. Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson, one of the best neurosurgeons in the world, was raised by a single mother. He was the first doctor to ever separate jointed twins and have them both survive. Imagine if he was aborted. He was raised by a single mother in Detroit, the ghettos of Detroit. And he's a Republican conservative. Because see, conservatives, we've been through tough times. We've been through hardships. Liberals, no. They've been raised by the dollar of mommy and daddy. That's why they're so delusional. And I'd love to have a sit down with a liberal. Right now, I'm just ranting and I'm being overly aggressive. But if I get a sit down with a Democrat or a liberal, I could be civil. I could talk like this. I could show you facts. But you guys make it impossible for people to logically argue with you. Everything Trump has done so many good things, and none of the media is talking about it. They're not talking about, oh, how he just created 50,000 jobs, or how he had Japanese investors invest $50 billion in America. No, they're complaining that Trump wants to make you liberals safe. He wants to make you Americans safe, and you're complaining for him to let more radical, not all Muslims, not all, look, this is not a Muslim ban, first of all. There's exceptions. They're going to look at it case by case. If you have a green card, you're coming through. If you're a family, they're going to look at you case by case. But if you're a single man that's been in and out of Syria 6 times in the last year, you're not coming in. It's that simple. It's common sense. So, and then the Women's March, these women are dressed, these women are dressed. And Roy, something will happen. I wouldn't be surprised if there will be assassination attempts on Donald Trump. We saw in the Women's March these nasty, disgusting women wearing vaginas as costumes. You're a woman? What kind of woman are you? Who raised you? What degenerate parents raised you? You're dressing up as a vagina. We had Madonna stay on stage saying, oh, I want to blow up the White House. You want to blow up the White House? How could somebody say that in front of millions of people? And then again, it's Hollywood, liberal Hollywood. They're not going to touch them. I just don't get it. And then we had Ashley Jude, the disgusting garbage women standing there saying, oh, I'm nastier than the bloodstains on my sheet. You have children there, you whore. You're a whore. Hey, Ron, Trump is not a real conservative. To tell you the truth, I'm against this ban he's doing. I'm against the immigration ban. I want more of them to come in. So then you guys start feeling the wrath of Islamic jihadists. That's the only reason I want. I'm against this ban. You know, but if there's gonna be a ban, I want it to be harsh screening. I want it to be. He's not doing anything new. Presidents have done this before. Like I said, Obama did it in 2011. He banned Iraqis for 6 months. Nobody said anything. Jimmy Carter banned Iranians in the early 80s. Nobody said anything. We banned Japanese in World War II. Nobody said anything. But we live in such a soft snowflake society that everything anybody does is racist, is bigoted. Oh my God. You Hollywood liberal elitist. How about, I have an idea. Perfect idea. I just thought of this. You liberal Hollywood elites, you stand on stage, yeah, this is a country built on immigrants. I mean, that's what the executive order says in the first place. This is a country built on immigrants. We'll continue to accept them. Hey, liberal Hollywood elitist, liberals, why don't you all start a program funding those immigrants to live near your neighborhoods? Let them live in Beverly Hills. How about that? Put your money where your mouth is and let them live by you. Let's see how fast you want them out of there with your intolerant, fake. Ooh, man, liberals are the most fakest people in the world. You're fake, you're phony, you don't care about refugees. Do these people even have jobs? You've been protesting the last 90 days. Every day there's everything Trump does, there's a protest. Trump could put a ban on pedophiles and the liberals will go ahead and protest LBGTQRXZ rights. Rights for pedophiles. There's actually pedophiles that are coming out demanding their rights. It's called trans age. No joke, look it up. Trans age. Where men think they are 10 years old, therefore they could date 10-year-olds. This is how crazy we've become. But God is sending them strong delusions. This is how deep in their delusion they are going. We're living in the end of times. This is how you know you're living in the end of times, where people are getting crazier and crazier by the moment. And they don't even realize it. They don't see they don't see what's going on. They're deluded. They're beyond delusion. You could tell them, hey, look, this color right here is blue. And they'll try to tell you, hey, you're a bigot. It's green. Trump wants to put a ban on 7 countries that Obama took, which has ISIS telling us they're coming in from there. All of a sudden, Trump is a racist. He's Islamophobic. Muslims that have ran away. Listen to us Assyrians, our parents that have ran away. Muslims themselves who have ran away from those countries are telling the government, don't bring these people in. Keep these people there. And to all you Assyrians that want our people to leave, we don't want our Assyrians to leave their homeland. Do you people honestly want Assyrians to be uprooted out of Iraq and Syria? That's exactly what the enemies of Assyrians want. They want us to be gone from that land. We don't want them to be gone. We want them to stay there, protect themselves, have a safe haven. This is the whole reason why both of my grandfathers fought in World War II. Why our ancestors fought so we could stay in that land. Now these liberal Assyrians want to get them out of there. Get them out of there. No, they don't want to leave. They want to be there, live in safety. They want to live according to, they want to be protected by their own men, like the NPU. They want to be protected and they want a safe haven. They don't want to leave their country. This is what happens when socialism and liberalism infects society. This is how bad socialism and liberalism, except because once the church breaks down, then the family breaks down. Once the family breaks down, all of society starts breaking down. Now, I understand not all marriages are perfect. Not all marriages are picket fences and pink houses and roses, no. But once you break down the family, then anything goes. A man can marry a man, woman can marry a woman, man can marry a goat. A 50-year-old man can think he's 10 years old and marry a 10-year-old. This is where we're going. And the left, see, the left, socialism produces people that are narcissistic. Everything to them is a right. I have a right to vacation. I have a right to health care. I have a right to education. No, you don't. Those aren't rights. Those are privileges. You are privileged to have health care. A right is freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of press, freedom to protest. Those are freedoms. Health care is not a freedom, Bernie Sanders. You burn out. Anyway, guys, I hope to have my radio show up and running. It'll be just like this, except me behind the mic. And I want you guys to tune in. I need some sponsors. And I hope you guys spread the word. I'm just ranting over here. But I want to have a dialogue with my friends from the left. I want to hear their mentality. But like Evan Siyat said, Evan Siyat, he's like the conservative Bill Maher. He says the liberal will take everything that is good, right, and flip it upside down and make you look like the bad guy. Like when Republicans wanted voter IDs. This is the most racist thing I heard. By the way, Democrats are the party of racism. They've always been the real racist. The Democrats founded the KKK. The Democrats were against getting rid of slavery. The Democrats were against civil rights in the 60s. Martin Luther King and his father were Republicans. And Democrats, they're the real racists. Deep down, they're the real racists. Even though, yeah, they elected the first black president. That's just all for show and tell. They're the real racists. Because when Republicans asked Congress for a law, to pass a law with voter IDs, makes sense, right? You go vote, you show an ID. Everywhere you go, you have to show an ID, right? You go to the movie theaters, you got to show an ID. You go to a bar, you show an ID. Anywhere you go, you have to show an ID. But the Democrats thought Republicans were racist because we required people to show IDs at the voting booth. Why is that racist? You know why? You know why Democrats said that was racist? Because poor people are incapable, black people and Hispanics are incapable of getting IDs. Oh, so black people and Hispanics are dumb, are so stupid that they can't get IDs to vote? Is that what you're telling me, Democrat? You got to flip the script on the Democrats. See, they always try to take the moral high ground to show that, look at us, we care, we care. You're telling me that Hispanics or blacks are so stupid that they can't get IDs to vote? That's what you're basically telling me. No, that has nothing to do with blacks voting. It has to do with keeping their voter fraud system in place. There was 2 million people that were registered voters that were dead. Dead people voting. Then you hear, oh, Hillary won the popular vote. That doesn't mean anything. The popular vote doesn't mean anything. Most of the populace is stupid, first of all. That's why the Electoral College was put in place. That's why the Founding Fathers put that in place. Because they know most people are stupid. And it would be up to the electors, the people who are actually somewhat logical, to decide who would be best to lead the country. And look what Trump is doing. General Mad Dog Mattis already bombed, what, 32 hard ISIS locations. He's done more in 1 week than Obama has done the last 3 years. So, this is the world we live in. And if a Democrat tries to shame you and tries to picture you as the racist bigot, fight fire with fire. Fight fire with fire. What? I'm the racist? You're the racist for thinking that black people can't get an ID. I don't know a black person that doesn't have an ID, do you? I mean, unless they've been in and out of jail. But they always like to demonize Republicans so nobody listens to you. After all, who wants to listen to a racist? If somebody's calling me a racist and a bigot, who's going to listen to me? Nobody. Nobody's going to listen to a bigot. So don't just listen to CNN. Anytime I watch CNN, MSNBC, even their headlines drive me crazy. They send messages to your mind to make you think a certain way. And it's an embarrassment. That's why their ratings are going downhill. That's why their ratings they're destroying themselves, and Trump is doing a good job exposing them. They're telling us he wanted to remove the Martin Luther King bust to show that he's a racist. You're a joke. The liberal media, the journalists, you're all jokes. Anyway, time for me to go. I've been ranting for too long. Like I said, I got a radio show coming up within the next... Now you're 100% Jilwa. La biznan, khizma bizna. Ubarwar. Calvin, shout out. But my radio show's coming up within the next month or two. I really want you guys to support it. If you have liberal friends, tell them to come join me. And we'll take it from there. Again, rest in peace to Hubert Yosef Yohanna, the martyrs of the Syrian Democratic Movement. I want you guys to research them. I mean, they went out in true heroes, the way they went out to keep our nation alive. Stood in the face of Saddam and told them, we were born a Syrian, we lived a Syrian, and we will die a Syrian. And there will come a day where we will march on your heads. And there will be a day when we will march on their heads. Because in the Bible it says, the men of Nineveh will rise to judge this evil, wicked people. Which is talking about ISIS and radical Islam, I believe. Anyway, over and out. Thank you all for tuning in. Oh yeah. You guys have a good one. God bless you all. And wait for my next propaganda video. Have a good one. Bye.